Yes, sir. I graduated in.
Electronics and computer engineering.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what is the biggest news item today? There have been Telangana elections have been declared.
Yes, sir. Municipal elections results have been declared yesterday, sir.
Okay.
So yeah, TRS won with a landslide victory.
What are these urban local bodies?
Sir, urban local bodies are kind of third tier of governance structure in our country, which were instituted by 74th Constitutional Amendment. So where we do the local kind of governance issues we deal in the urban local bodies,
Do you
especially.
think there is a need for separate urban governance, and how do these local bodies function?
Sir, we need to more deepen and widen the present urban local bodies, sir, rather than having any other specialized urban governance. I mean, like using the latest technologies like e-governance into the urban local bodies, and also making people more participative in this. Like presently, we have all these elected ward members and elected intern chairmen of urban local bodies, but still they were not empowered enough to deal with the issues. So one is empowering them, and second thing is making people also more empowered in participating.
What do you think are, in urban India?
Yes, sir.
What are the major issues now which country is facing? Like recently Hyderabad was selected, top 20 tier cities by JLL, international magazine, kind of a survey.
Yes, sir.
What are the urban governance issues? What are the urban India problems India is facing? How do you propose to deal with them?
So one thing after seeing them, what I observe is there is a kind of paradox where we have 2/3 of our economy comes from urban cities, but still they were not empowered enough to deal with them. For example, we don't have this kind of empowered mayor system in India. Even though we have mayors, but they are not as empowered as other countries where they are performing well. For example, in London we have Sadiq Khan. Even I know the mayor name of him, London mayor, but not in here. So I believe that is one thing. And second thing, apart from political empowerment, there are also kind of three issues. Like traditionally we know funds, functionaries, and functionaries. Yeah, so these two issues are also there, sir. So apart from one thing, what we did with the amendment.
If you have funds, let us say, if you have funds, what are the major issues or innovations you'll be dealing in a city called Hyderabad or in Delhi, anywhere? What are the major issues that need to be dealt with?
So the first thing is with related to sanitation and waste management, sir. So that is the most basic necessity of a city urban life. And second thing is transport sector. So where we have our development being focused in one area rather than having in a decentralized in the sense, like in example, in Hyderabad we have more of the development in Gachibowli area, sir. And personally for people from other end like Uppal who have to travel all the way, they have to spend around 2 hours.
Take care of sanitation and
Transportation.
Okay, what are the other issues?
And then dealing with the urban poverty, sir.
Okay.
So where we have to rehabilitate the slums, and we have to also ensure development reaches every corner and every section of the society, sir.
Are there any government of India schemes dealing with urban governance, these kind of issues you talked about? What are these?
Yes, sir. Recently I have observed one thing, JNM we have started for revitalizing the transport system. And similarly we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Similarly we have other schemes, sir, like Smart India, where we have.
What is the smartness? What is the smartness about?
So smartness
What
is
is smart city? What are the elements of a smart city?
So smartness as a whole is basically achieving the objectives through more efficient mechanisms by cut-shorting the longer process. So for this we are employing technology. For this we are employing the political process, whatever we can do, which is efficient, like delineating the city zones into certain smart city and then empowering those bodies. And similarly we are using other aspects like kind of exclusive economic zone concept we are implementing in smart cities, sir. And also planning for sustainable development.
There is a scheme called Amrut by Central Government of India.
Yes, sir.
What is that about?
Amrut is kind of rejuvenating the urban governance system by infusing them the funds, and also by having a larger objectives of developing all-round development of urban areas.
Sir, you have opted Indian Foreign Service.
Yes, sir.
Today's our Republic Day chief guest is Brazilian president.
Yes, sir.
What prompted India to invite the Brazilian president?
Okay, sir. So traditionally we have close links with the major powers of global developed countries like US, Russia, all these countries, but we have traditionally neglected the Latin American countries, sir. So they don't form major part of our bilateral relations. As India aiming for a larger power stature in the next coming years, we need each and every power to be closely aligned with India. So Brazil is such an important actor in Latin America area, sir. So having
the
strength,
most
sir.
accurate thing to invite the Brazilian president is India and Brazil are the countries in the BRICS.
Yes, sir.
Brazil, Russia, India,
China, sir.
and South Africa. So what are the bilateral treaties they are expecting today?
Today,
What are the
especially.
bilateral treaties and then strategic relationships?
Okay, sir.
What are these?
Sir, bilaterally, we are expecting more to cooperate in investment, sir, and investment facilitation, and
What
also
fields? Investments.
especially in bioenergy, sir, biofuels. Brazil has significant strength in biofuels, sir, and so we are also in moving towards energy security and energy independence. So we want to utilize those strengths, first thing, and next thing, agriculture, sir. We have similar challenges with respect to agriculture as well. So they have this agriculture surplus production over there, and similarly, we need cooperation in sugar subsidies as well. We have issues with Brazil, so those are some of the areas. And apart from that, we have complementaries between Brazil and India. Like for example, we are very good in pharmaceuticals and they are very good in exporting the mineral ores. So we have investments coming up, agreements coming up in that area. And also we are elevating our strategic partnership, which is signed in 2006, to more other areas like science and technology. Even in space cooperation, we are trying to make some new roads, sir.
So what are the main expectations on climate changes in between these two countries?
Yes, sir. So having Brazil and India having similar kind of challenges, especially with related to climate
Is
change.
it a South-South centric?
Yes, sir. There is also a kind of major emphasis on global South-South cooperation, sir, because we have similar challenges.
Why they are
especially-
focusing on these climate changes?
Because we are more affected by climate change, sir, than any other developed
Do you
and.
know something about Amazon fires?
Yes, sir. In the last year, there was rapid Amazon fires incident. Because of that, many of the forests have been affected. But there was a kind of controversy which has been elevated into geopolitical level, where France and other countries have actually criticized Brazil's action in that. So even in that area also, we need to cooperate more actually to strengthen our engagement and also to our efforts towards the Paris deal, sir.
These two guys are synonymically one and the same on one particular aspect. What's it?
Like
These
India?
two guys, Narendra Modi and then Bolsonaro, are one and the same synonymically on one subject particularly.
Yes, sir. So they are.
Why?
Okay, sir. So they are more like, I believe, after analyzing closely, they are more towards strengthening their nation. They want kind of putting their national priorities first. So they kind of
That
already.
means you mean to say about the nationalistic view?
Sorry, sir.
Nationalistic view?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kind of nationalistic view. So kind of putting nations first, apart from also strengthening the global engagements.
But
Every prime minister, every president of that country puts nation first.
Yes, sir.
Something else.
But they are facing total criticism from other angle also on one subject. About that.
Yes, sir. It's kind
Yes,
of right populism that is gaining ground in Brazil,
No,
especially.
It's not populism. It is the religious
Okay.
politics.
Okay, sir. I'll more research on that, sir. I'm completely not up. Yes.
You opted Telugu literature as your optional subject.
No, sir. It's political science and
Political
international.
science.
Yes, sir.
Political
Political science and international relations.
So your mother tongue is Telugu.
Telugu, sir. Yes.
Okay. Can you give me the very popular Telugu poet from your district, Warangal?
Yes, sir. There is very close poet actually. It is Nannaya, sir. It is very near to my birthplace. It is, I mean, not birthplace, by my my father's birthplace. It is Palakutti. So, I know.
It is not Nannai, I think it is Potana.
Potana.
I'm really sorry, sir. Yeah, it is.
Nice.
I'm really sorry, sir.
Okay.
It is
Potana,
Bombera
yeah.
village.
Bommera Potana, sir.
Bommera Potana.
I was reading morning about Nannaya and somehow I got confused with that, sir.
Can you explain
Nannai, I
me?
think from Andhra.
Yeah.
From Rajahmundry or something.
Morning I was researching on Telugu poets and somehow I got confused.
Yeah,
with
yeah. Can you give me some historical events regarding your district, Warangal?
Sir, I'm not completely aware, but I can recollect if you allow me some of them, sir.
Okay.
Like one is Kakatiya's rule, sir, in Warangal. That is especially reflected in the architecture and forts and all in and around Warangal. And the second thing is Golconda's rule, I mean Nizam's rule, especially after Razakars effect was more visible in Warangal, sir. And then Telangana agitations, that also has, Warangal has played a kind of key role in Telangana movement, sir.
Okay.
So that is so far I can remember.
Okay. Being a science graduate,
Yes, sir.
I think you might have read the e-governance in the public administration.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
What is the exact meaning or what is the opinion you understood about the e-governance?
Sir, e-governance is basically to facilitate good governance aspects, sir. Like traditionally from the governance aspect, we tend to benefit both the stakeholders, government and people, to reach each other bilaterally. This can be more effectively made utilizing e-governance aspects, sir. Like for example, we can use digital technologies, we can use data analytics, all these aspects to fast track those interactions between.
No, that is the process of implementation of the e-governance, is it right?
Yes.
What are the exact objectives of the e-governance in the country?
So those are inclusivity, sir, transparency, and then objectivity, and
What is the
then
meaning of objectivity?
objectivity is about ability to take decisions based on reason and based on data, not being prejudiced before itself, sir.
So there are certain things useful of e-governance. That's what number is asking. What is
Okay.
utility of
And,
e-governance?
why it's being utilized actually? What is the actual importance of the e-governance to the people?
Okay, sir.
What is citizen-centric governance?
Okay.
If you remember the 5 characteristics of the e-governance, you can tell the answer with ease.
Okay.
It's also known as what? Smart governance.
Smart governance.
Is it right?
Yes.
Right. Smart in the. Can you extend the each and every letter mentioned in the smart?
No, sir. I'm not completely
Not
sure.
completely. Okay. Because you can expect this question because you're a science graduate, particularly computer science, I think. Is it
EC,
right?
EC.
EC,
Electronics and Computer Science. Is it right?
That is in diploma, sir, and then electronics and computers. Yes, sir.
Okay. One of the objectives of the e-governance is to eliminate the corruption in the country.
Okay, sir.
Particularly while you are providing the civilian citizens in the country, is it right? Civilian services.
Yes.
Is it right? Even though corruption is being observed, many
Yes.
officers are being they are being caught in the taking the money or something like that
Yes.
while doing the discharging their duties.
Yes.
What is the main reason or reasons for the corruption?
Sir, what I can observe is that it's not only technology, sir, it's actually the societal value chain system also needs to be there. So if we just enable the technology and not enable the people to be actually smart or to be value ridden, then it would not be efficient enough to utilize those technologies, sir. So we also need to train our administration and the bureaucracy or whatever the structures that are involved in this process to deliver with the use of technologies towards corruption-free India.
So you have done Polytechnic in Electronics and Communication Engineering. And
Yes, sir.
Graduation you shifted to Electronics and Computer Engineering.
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between Electronics and Communication and Electronics and Computers?
Sir, with electronics and communication, that is more focused towards telecommunications and all the communications related technologies, sir. For example, 5G or all the electronic related technologies. In computers, we are actually blending a kind of, there was a concept at that time that came embedded electronics, sir. So there we were using electronics and computers mechanism, like software coded programs we are using in electronics to deliver the outcomes. For example, it is extended now to Internet of Things, sir, where we are using electronics and communications along with the software to deliver the services more.
You have completed your engineering in 2012.
Yes.
Now it is 2020.
Yes.
What you have done all these 8 years?
After 2012,
Have
I've
you worked earlier in any
Yes,
private
sir.
firm or something?
Yes, sir. I have worked for 6 years in Cognizant Technology Solutions.
Okay. Where?
In Hyderabad, I worked for 4 years, sir, and then I worked 2 years in London, sir.
That's why you know the name of the mayor of London.
Yes, sir.
Is it right?
Yes, sir. And I also saw complete visible transformation, how the mayor is powerful and how he is doing that. But I never saw that in here, so that's how I can relate.
Why is that so in India? Why we are not able to give more power to elected representatives?
Sir,
Is government afraid of it, or constitution doesn't provide for that?
Sir, there are a couple of things, sir. First thing, our political culture is more focused on national and state elections rather than on local elections, sir. And second thing, constitutionally as well, we have given this flexibility to states, sir. to implement the provisions voluntarily. So there was a kind of reluctance for the state governments actually to devolve that power, fearing that they wouldn't be. But actually they were also fearful that center is not devolving enough power to states, such that states can devolve more to third tier. So that is one thing, and also there is no social movement coming up from the people demanding more local governance structure as well, sir. So these kind of three structures playing in.
Do you think corruption is an issue which, do you think politicians are more corrupt, they're likely to make it citizen services, more costly? Are there that kind of apprehensions among the minds of the people that, it's better to give a power to a commissioner than to a mayor? Is that kind of feel there in the people?
Yes, sir. There is certain kind of, yes, this kind of fear that people are actually, when they saw, especially people, some of the politicians being corrupt, they saw that it is more good to actually devolve these powers to administration rather than to the politicians.
How do you distinguish between a citizen of London or citizen of India or Hyderabad or Delhi? what do you think are the differences between those citizens, this citizenry? So where does the difference lie between those citizens and our citizens?
Okay, sir. So one thing I can quickly recollect is, like, there was more kind of educated choices, like there was more public space available in London, sir, for the citizens to participate and debate, discuss and then vote. But in India it is more kind of information through only one public space, majorly the media, sir. So that is projecting the candidates and also for the people to participate. There are no other public spaces, like for example in London there are tea houses, there are coffee houses where they go and debate, and there are debate clubs.
So do you think the citizens are more informed there?
Kind of not completely, sir. There are certain sections where they are not informed as well, and nowadays, especially during the times of Brexit, I saw personally people being occupied with other areas and there was over information. Like people are getting even there also towards populist sentiments.
Okay.
And even India, there was matured kind of decision making in rural India rather than even in urban areas. That I have specifically seen when I was studying in political science. Like people in rural India are more focused towards solving their actual problems like poverty, getting the welfare services. So they are trying to opt the candidates who deliver those services.
Why education? If rural India is less educated, urban India is more educated.
Yes, sir.
If rural India is not educated, still they are able to choose better representatives. Do you think education is important in this entire democratic paradigm?
Education is important, sir, but political education is completely different from our education, sir. Like education, when we say, it is completely about, not just about literary education. We also educate about our values and other aspects, but political education is somehow not coming
I
through.
would say, because you are taking political science is one of your subjects.
Yes, sir.
I would say that rural India is more casteist oriented than urban India. Caste plays a neutral role by and large in urban India.
Yes,
So I
sir.
think urbanites should be able to select without caste as a basis. So what do you say about that?
Sir, one thing I would like to differ a bit over this is, sir, that even though caste plays an important role, but it is a positive thing as well, sir. Because of the caste playing big role in rural India, many of the weaker sections are playing now a dominant role. For example, if we see Dalits and we see backward sections, they have come into political circle because of their caste played identities, sir. So caste identities are making democracy more inclusive and vibrant, sir. So there is negative aspects as well, sir, by playing out caste identities of one over the other, but we also have to look the positive aspects in playing out in rural India, sir. Yes,
Prem Sagar.
yes,
Naveen Reddy, your father's name.
yes.
Can you support this attaching the prefixes and suffixes to the name, particularly caste?
Ma'am, personally, I won't support placing a suffix, ma'am. That is why I took a conscious decision in 10th, because I faced certain examples, ma'am. If you allow me, I will elaborate on that. Like for example, in 10th class, there used to be groups of only Reddys coming together and participating in games and everything. And then I have similarly saw in before as well. I mean, some of my friends have actually, I lost some friends because of this. So I consciously eliminated this. This is one option. And the second thing, my father also doesn't want to keep Reddy, because he thought that because being Reddy, I won't get any benefits from government because I was an OC. So that was my father's justification for doing that. But I was personally not inclined to keep Reddy. So that is how I didn't
Why
get.
India have withdrawn itself from RCEP? Why?
Because there are different stakeholders involved in the economic engagement, ma'am. Especially there are certain kind of backward areas in the economic engagement, like for example dairy sector. For example, we have agriculture sector where we are relied still on subsistence agriculture. So those areas are going to be impacted more because of joining the RCEP agreement. So we thought we should get enough deal to protect them. If we are not getting that, then we should at least make sure our industries, our sectors are competent enough, and then we join the agreement. So that is why I took a conscious decision to hold back the agreement till we get some alternative for those problems.
So recently you have seen today also Rajasthan and KCR also gave a statement that he is going to pass a resolution against citizenship.
Yes.
Do the states have power to do that? Citizenship is the center's domain.
Yes, ma'am. If we see it on the face, we can't do that. States can't do that. But if we see the deeper aspect, states are saying that it's a kind of constitutional issue. So, with respect to constitution, states also have the power to pass a resolution stating their view on an act which affects the constitutional values. So, in that aspect, yes, ma'am. States have the right to pass their view.
Can you distinguish between cooperative federalism and asymmetrical federalism? What is the definition of cooperative federalism?
Okay.
What is the definition of asymmetrical federalism?
Okay. First, I would like to deal on asymmetrical federalism. Asymmetrical federalism is a kind of flexibility, ma'am, that gives actually to the both power, center and state, more to the center, to deal with the diversities that are involved in the country, whether it is economic, cultural, or all the diversities or asymmetries that can be handled well with the asymmetrical federalism, ma'am. In cooperative federalism, it is kind of cooperating between states and union, that is vertical cooperation, and also horizontal cooperation between the states. So this is,
Tomorrow government is going to have the borderland issue settled.
yes, ma'am.
Is it cooperative federalism or asymmetrical federalism?
If-
Or is it to maintain symmetry? What is that?
Ma'am, if states are also of the same opinion, cooperating with the union in solving the borderland issue, such that both are benefiting out of it, then it comes into the domain of cooperative federalism. But if center tries to bring some special rights to borderland to protect the integrity and the with respect to solving the solution of borderland, then it falls into the asymmetrical federalism.
The interview is over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
కూర్చోండి. సో ఇంటర్వ్యూ యు ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఫ్లూయెన్సీ చాలా బాగుంది. ఆన్సర్ రాకపోతే వీక్ అయిపోతున్నాం, మాటలు
Yeah.
తగ్గిపోతుంది, మిన్స్ అయిపోతున్నాయి. అది మేజర్. బాగా వచ్చిన క్వశ్చన్కి బాగున్నావు, సెకండ్ హాఫ్కి వచ్చేసరికి ఏదైనా స్మార్ట్ గవర్నెన్స్ రాలేదనుకో తగ్గిపోతున్నావు, లో అయిపోతుంది.
Yeah, ma'am, అసలు ఐడియా లేదు.
అండ్ మధ్య మధ్యలో ఇన్ఫార్మల్గా మాట్లాడుతున్నాం అప్పుడు. అంతా బాగుంది. ఇన్ఫార్మల్ మాట్లాడటం అంటే ఇప్పుడు సార్ కాస్ట్ గురించి క్వశ్చన్ అడిగినప్పుడు, గవర్నెన్స్ గురించి క్వశ్చన్ అడిగినప్పుడు కొంచెం ఇన్ఫార్మల్గా మాట్లాడుతున్నాం. మిగతాదంతా
You know, don't make a overarching statements.
Okay.
Like caste plays a positive role. You know, democracy is not something that will be appreciated by board members.
Okay.
Because caste is seen all over the country as one thing that is, you know, decimating electoral politics actually. That's an overarching statement. Don't give that kind of overall. If you are giving an overall statement, you must have some kind of research on that.
Okay,
That's
data
very
kind.
important. Yes, yes, you must have. And then, when you're using words, this is what we tend to use. We use words, you know, we borrowed actually from book. Like you said, when Sir was asking about government and people, it's a kind of a bilateral kind of thing. Bilateral is a word used for governments. Okay, so, and then one more thing for you would be, certainly, because you served 2 years in London,
Yes, sir.
you must know about London. What's the parliamentary democracy there, and depth into that. That is, you must be ready on that, because most of the members, they would have served in other countries and they would have stayed there.
Yes.
They would, very rarely they get a candidate who has a London kind of a background. With
Okay.
your, you know, degree and all that, if you have been cognizant and all that, you should be thorough with that. On those issues, you should never be lacking central government, I mean smart governance, and electronic governance. And since you stayed in London, what
Yes.
kind of citizen acts are there? You should be much more specific of that. Overall, as Madam said, it's good interview.
And one more thing.
Yes, sir.
First, in the beginning of your interview, Sir asked for the one question that the very burning problem in India. What are the
Yeah,
urban issues?
Yes.
Yes.
You explained the some issues,
of them.
is it right?
Yes, sir.
What is the first one?
I talked about sanitation and
Sanitation.
waste
Second one?
management, transport, sir.
Transport, waste
management.
Waste management, yes, sir.
These three are, you raised, these are three problems.
Yes, sir.
But actually, your answer should start with the overpopulation, crowded
Okay.
population.
Yes, sir.
Second one is housing problem.
Okay.
Third is the power problem. You can
Okay.
say that being a science student, you can say that energy problem.
Okay, sir. Energy.
right?
Yeah.
Then health and medicine problem,
Okay.
right?
Yes, sir.
Traffic problems. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And next one is the minimum amenities problems also, like
Public
cultural
amenities.
roads,
Okay.
providing the drinking water. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
And these are all the major areas. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
So you have to start with your answer with overpopulation. Then immediately you can expect another question also. So what are your advices are to check all the problems in urban India?
Yes, sir.
Then first you have to give the proper solution for the overpopulation, decreasing the population.
Okay, sir.
In-migration is happening, urban migration is very
Migration.
Focus on the focused approach shall be there.
Okay.
Concentrate on the focused approach rather than the non-focused issues.
Okay.
Is it right?
Normally civil service interviews, urban issues, rural issues, you should have clear kind of clear-cut kind of attack
Right.
actually, because you are going for civil services.
Yes, sir.
One more thing, sir, if you look into your options,
Yes, sir.
I haven't checked it, as sir said, your options are not like a normal kind of options. You had given fourth choice as the Indian Postal and Account Service.
Yes, sir.
Normally, it will be Indian Revenue Service, they'll get a fourth choice actually. Somebody would like to, what is the PNT Accounts and Finance Group Service, this, what is that? Indian Defence Account Services. What is that? Fourth choice is given for Indian Revenue Services.
Yes.
You have given PNT Accounts,
16.
16.
Audit and Account Services 5. So this choice also going to prepare a little bit.
Okay, sir. I will prepare.
But governance structure, urban governance, rural governance, urban local bodies, these are very important questions.
Sure.
I think you need to prepare.
Yeah, definitely,
What do you
sir.
say, ma'am?
Like importance of Varangal.
Okay, sir.
Varangal
Yeah.
is historic place.
Yes, historical place.
Madam Sammaka Saraka Jatara.
చాలా ఉన్నాయి నాన్న.
చాలా
Yeah, sir.
రామప్ప టెంపుల్.
Warangal is
Inkote-
Naxal movement కి చాలా basis
Center,
central.
Center of
You have a colleges there, like you have that.
KU college. మన
Technological college.
NIT.
NIT, Warangal
Yes,
and all these places.
RIC Warangal.
RIC Warangal.
Yes.
వాటి మీద స్ట్రాంగ్గా తయారు కావాలి. నార్మల్లీ అడుగుతారు.
ఈ రోజు వరకు నిన్ను ఇంటర్వ్యూ అంతా కూడా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ బేసిస్ మీద ఇంటర్వ్యూ అయింది.
Yes, sir.
నెక్స్ట్ టైం వచ్చినప్పుడు యువర్ అది అనలిటికల్ నాలెడ్జ్,
Sure, sir.
యువర్ బిహేవియర్,
Yes, sir.
ఎథికల్ వాల్యూస్,
Yes, sir.
పర్సనాలిటీ, వీటి మీద బాగా ప్రిపేర్ కావాలి.
Sure,
Now
sir.
the whole you are good. The way you are
The
facing
fluency
board
okay.
and fluence, it's all really good for a first interview. Try to deepen more knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Definitely.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
February 26th కదా?
Yes.
దీని ఇంటర్వ్యూ ఫిబ్రవరి 26th.
One
మళ్ళీ
month.
వీలైనంత
one
వరకు
month.
మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి
One month.
ఇంటర్వ్యూ
Definitely, sir. Yeah, this time I
చెప్పిన
will.
ఏరియా చూసుకో.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
కాంట్రవర్షియల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుతాను నేను.
Okay.
డెఫినెట్గా అది ఈ రోజు ఈ ఫేజ్లో కాలేదు నీకు,
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
తర్వాత అవుతుంది.
Sure.
అర్థమవుతుందా? తర్వాత ఎంటర్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఇంకా కొంత నువ్వు ఇది వాకింగ్ స్టైల్ మార్చుకో. వాకింగ్ స్టైల్ అంటే అది కాదు, సినిమాలో చూసాను.
Good body language.
బాడీ లాంగ్వేజ్.
Try to, you are going to attend in a suit or normal dress.
Suit I'm planning. sir.
Once you in a suit lo, ఒకసారి attend again mock interview,
Yes.
so that you know how to behave in comfort. You'll have tie and all those things.
Yes.
How to sit comfortably. If I recall my interviews, there used to be hands, కొంచెం slowing down hands ఉంటాయి. I don't know what is the status now. ఆ హ్యాండ్స్ మనం పెట్టుకున్నప్పుడు చేతులు జారిపోతా ఉంటాయి. You will be conscious of that. First you should be comfortable.
Okay.
All these things. ఒకసారి సూట్తో అటెండ్ కాదు మాకు.
Yes, sir. Definitely next time I will.
ఇదంతా బాగుంది నాన్న, కానీ కొన్ని ఏరియాలలో ఇంకొంత నాలెడ్జ్ నువ్వు డెవలప్ చేసుకో.
Yes, sir. Governance area and all I will read.
టైం ఉంది.
1 month is more than enough.
Yes.
అట్లా రైట్, గుడ్ లక్.